Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to welcome you to our roundtable that is dedicated to gender equality in managing financing tech. To tackle this topic of the gender equality in financing tech, we have chosen to get three very different point of views, but very complementary. The one of a woman founder who has raised funds and who is owning her own company. She will tell us more about it. The one of an entrepreneur who is sustaining women, I&D, in a very large way and for a very long time. I will also introduce him later. And of course, the investor. So to introduce the panelists, I will start with Lara Gervais, who is with us today. Lara is the co-founder of Virtuosis AI. Following her thesis in AI at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, Lara co-founded Virtuosis AI to enhance well-being and communication skills. The company's technology can pick up early signs of burnout, stress and anxiety just by listening to voice patterns during Microsoft Teams call. So I tested it, it works very well. Lara applies her AI expertise to foster self-awareness and promote wellness, emphasizing the ethical use of technology and prioritizing privacy. And she's also a passionate sport person, having completed an international levels in various disciplines and participated in Ninja Warrior. Doesn't look like. I will go ahead with Emily. So Emily Benayad is partner operating at Serena. Prior to joining Serena in 2020, Emily was the chief people officer of companies like Sigfox and Ultra North Africa. She graduated from EDEC Business Schools and holds a master in management. At Serena, Emily is the go-to person to tackle organization challenges, recruit the right people, and put together a company culture. She has strong expertise in talent acquisition, management, retention, as well as proven management and coaching qualities. Companies she has been teaming up with include Electra, Pelico, Helios, Wicasa, May. Emily is also the Serena D&I champion. And she's also the member of the board of Take Your Place. So thank you also, Emily, for being with us. And last but not least, we have with us also Saïd Amouche. Saïd Amouche is a French founder of Mozaik RH and Foundation Mozaik. He's an expert in I&D and works for more than 15 years in this sector. He has also founded many programs, one of which we are going to talk about today is a program dedicated to women entrepreneurs to help them to raise money, obviously, in a specific period of their creation of companies. And we can be very proud of it. And we lost a very last participant, Elise Bordet, who was called for the Cannes Festival to help women filmmakers to work on Me Too and negotiation. Okay, so maybe I'm going to start with this panel with a very first question that I will ask to each of you, if you agree, of course. So my first question is, why do you think it is important to help women to get more money to finance women in tech? And how do you think today, by your own point of view, of course, you're doing it? So maybe we can start with you, Lara.
So I think not only in like startups or in tech, diversity is important. It's important not only because we need diverse point of view to achieve something that is as good as possible, but also, for example, in tech and in AI precisely, which is my field, if you if most tech are built by, like, for example, by men, in this case, you tend to have that AI that also works well only for men and not that well for women. Same for medicine, for example. So I think it's important to have everyone represented. So we build technologies, solutions for the future that can be used and that can perform for everyone. That's my thought.
Thank you very much, Lara. Emily?
Yeah, probably some of you or many of you already know these figures, which come from a SISTA and BCG survey that they are publishing a survey each year, and these figures is quite frightening. Women only founding team raise in general 5 times less money than men only founding teams, and it's not acceptable, and these figures should tend to 0. So the main thing is they don't need to raise more, they need to raise as much as men. This should be the first assumption, I guess.
Thank you, Emily. Said, as I said in introduction, you build a program that is called Sense. You co-build it, as a matter of fact, with a woman, by the way, not a woman. And in this program, you help women entrepreneurs, especially 50% of women in your program, which is very special because you need to recruit them from a specific area and find them and help them to raise money sometimes for the very first time for most of them. Why for you is it important to help women, and how can we reduce this gap?
It's obviously for me to design this program Sense with 50% of women. The business is mostly sustainable and profitable, so that's clear. They really love money and have indeed less access to money and funding. So we need action to reduce the gender gap. Therefore, your program Sense is designed with parity. And I would like to say again that collaboration with PwC, and I would like to say thank you very much for the help you have with the Foundation Mozaik with Ascenseur Collective.
Thank you. Thank you. To go ahead, I have a second question for you, and not the last one. Why would you say today that it's not only an issue for women to raise money, but globally, it's an issue for the tech sector to have more women? How can we? What could we do to get more women, according to you, from a very operational point of view, or from a more political point of view? I let you choose the way you want to answer this question.
So I would say we could just wait for, like, with the new generation, I see that there is more and more inclusion of women. People see less difference in terms of capabilities between women and men. So I think over time it's going to be better. But I don't believe we should wait for that. And in my opinion, one reason why there are less women in tech, actually 2 reasons. One is that we lack role models. When we are little girl, we look at, I don't know, models, nurses, I mean, all of the typical woman models you could think we have in our toys. And then as girls, we want to become that. But today there are more and more associations promoting girls going to tech, going to engineering. So there is effort, and I think we should increase it. And then the other side, when it comes to the intersection between tech and entrepreneurship, men tend to be more competitive. Probably I did a lot of sports, so I got competitive in that matter. But where there is a lot of competition, we see men taking over. We can think about horse riding or cooking. Usually it's women dominated, but when it's at a high level, we see more men. And I think we should encourage women to pursue their dreams, to achieve what they dream, what they want to do. And I think acting on this both things, we could have more women in tech and in entrepreneurship.
Ninja warrior, this is what I will remember from this talk. Emily?
Yeah, the question you ask is quite complicated because it's a multifactorial problem. It's not a simple issue, it's a complex issue. And Lara, you mentioned some of the factors that are, you said a few role models. I could add bias from investors. I could add lack of network sometimes. And I could also add in some cases, business models, where sometimes women are building business models that are less capital intensive, so they have less access to funds. So once said, how to address it? I think that it's a shared responsibility. It's a complex problem, so it's not one stakeholder that can tackle this problem, and it's a shared responsibilities among all the stakeholders. As a VC investor, of course, I have a responsibility, and I strongly believe that I can have an impact. Concretely, how? I think that the first point is my willingness to act and to refuse the statu quo. And what does it mean concretely is make it a clear objective and monitor it. And once it's a clear objective and you monitor it the same way as you monitor your performance, your economic and financial performance, then it becomes important. The second way, and it's more a mid-term impact, but I think that it can have a great impact, is to build the future community of female founders. And I have a conviction, an assumption at least, which is that today's C-level will be tomorrow's female founders. So I work specifically on this target, female C-levels, in two ways. First, by having them recruited in our portfolio companies. At Serena, we source talent for our portfolio companies. And last year, for example, 90% of the C-level we recruited for our portfolio company were female. So it's very concrete, and I think that we can act this way. The second point is we've launched last year a program to accelerate leadership and mixity called PALM, Program to Accelerate Leadership and Mixity. We did it this year with Ring Capital. And what is this program? We onboarded 20 women, C-levels, from Ring Portfolio and Serena Portfolio in a best-in-class leadership program, including network. And I strongly believe that those initiatives will pay back in a couple of months and years.
Thank you. Said, what would be the best advice you could give to a woman to raise funds? Because I guess as you're already very volunteer in your own programs, what in addition would you provide as tips?
My tips is never give up, and ask for help around you. That's necessary to do it. So it's clearly more difficult to rise funding when women, as discussion previously, we need to look after any option that can help dedicate program, women's business angels, dedicates funding, supports on networks anywhere.
Maybe there is something I would like to raise as well. it's not really a solution. I don't like to talk about problems, but we tend to network with people who look like us, with whom we share interest. But also, if we are a woman, we will usually go to women. If we are young, we will like network more with young people. And when we are in a woman today, in a world that is male-dominated, I find it a lot harder to build a network, make a real deep connection, because we have this difference, especially when it's combined being young and a woman in a room of like older guys. It's a barrier for which I don't have really a solution, so I'm happy to discuss it afterwards. But I think that's a point on which we could work at to find a solution.
But you raised money anyway for Virtuosis, so what is your best tips?
So yeah, we had I had many talks with VCs, with I mean, to be honest, I would like being a woman not to be seen as something that is a criteria that is used to make decision. When I'm in front of a VC, I see that I'm a woman, I'm good for a quota, and this is like really central to the thinking. And yeah, there is a lot of positive discrimination, and there is a lot of still discrimination, like people. So I'm an engineer by background, and I had people telling, okay, but in the company you need a real engineer, and you cannot change this kind of people. But then there is the opposite. There is a lot of positive discrimination, a lot of opportunities in VCs, especially who are actively looking to have more women-founded companies in their portfolio. And so that helps, even if I would like to not need that.
To select in a better way the VCs you're meeting.
Yeah, I think it comes to the reason I mentioned before, that guys go to guys and women usually stay among women.
Emily?
Yeah, I just had a question for Lara. Do you think that being a woman has had an impact, positive or negative, on your fundraising?
So yeah, both. I mean, it's already like really like it's not discarded. Like it's the thing. Okay, you are a woman. We want women in a quota, or I don't believe women can be leaders or whatever. It is something that is really taking in consideration and more than needed.
Okay, so positive and negative impact.
Yeah, both ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe one more tip. I'm quite optimistic. It can be controversial, but I'm quite optimistic. I think that awareness has never been that high among the investor world, at least. And I think that women, you are at the right place at the right time, for good or for bad reasons. But I think that it's a right place and a right time. So my advice would be ask more money, be ambitious. This is a VC rule. And the second would be maybe go where you are not expected. And for example, your example is a striking example. You are in AI. You are not. Women are not always expected in AI, and I think that it's much more easy to be top of mind when you go where you are not expected. There are many new industries, of course, Gen AI, climate tech. Those are new industries, and everything is still to be built. And there is no reason why men should be more successful than you women. So go where you're not expected.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you. Maybe we get some time for questions, if there are some. Just raise your hand if you have some questions to the panelists.
Thank you for the panel. One question about monitoring the objectives. I think you were the one to talk about monitoring the diversity or those indicators. Do you have examples of what you specifically monitor and how you set goals for those targets?
Yeah. And thanks for mentioning diversity, because the topic of this panel is about mixity, so gender diversity, but the discussion could be exactly the same for all the other types of diversity. But if I come back to gender diversity, we are a signatory of the SISTA Charter, and as member of SISTA Allies, we commit to concrete objectives. Those objectives are by 2025 to 55% of the funded companies should be female-founded or co-funded, 30% by 2030, and 50% by 2050. So concretely, we monitor this objective. So each quarter, we look at our deal flow, we look at the investment we've done, and we make sure that we will comply with the 25%. For the past 2 years, we have been above those 25%, and I'm quite happy with that. But I also know that it's a constant struggle, and it's not because we did it for the past 2 years that it's done and that it's a problem behind us. But I think that monitoring it, it's the first step necessary to achieve it.
Any other question?
Maybe in the meantime, I can add, I forgot to give tips. You asked me for tips. And for women, it would be to be more confident, assertive, because in my experience, the women, which is really good, but they tend to reflect more on themselves, question themselves, and oftentimes it's used by people who would be more assertive I mean, for example, if we talk VC founders to VC to tell them, okay, you should do that way, and yeah, to basically let other people lead them. So yeah, to women, don't hesitate to really believe in yourself and be confident and trust yourself.
We still have time if there is a last question. The room. Okay, thank you very much.